Hey everybody, Chris here, and today I want to talk about disillusionment. Hmm. Actually, I want to keep talking about the hype cycle, and specifically, I want to talk about the trough of disillusionment, which is a part of the hype cycle. It's the third stage of the hype cycle, and it's usually really predictable. Um, so we talked about the innovation trigger, which is the tr event or presentation that triggers um, interested in innovation. And then we have the peak of inflated expectations where everyone just thinks this is the bee's knees. This is going to be great. We're going to be able to solve all these problems. We're going to make everything better. And as we know, technology takes a while to mature. So eventually, and sometimes it doesn't take very long, reality sets in. And that's where the trough of disillusionment comes in. We spend all this money. We're supposed to recoup it. It's supposed to make things better. And it comes back to that concept of we overestimate what we're going to do in a year, but underestimate what we're going to do in 10 years. And it's that first piece. We overestimate what we're going to do in a year. I expected to have returns by now. We bought the VR. Why isn't everybody learning? And that's kind of what the trough of disillusionment is. And we can sort of see this not only in individual organizations, but in society as a whole. This is when the bubble bursts. And, I'm trying to think of something where the bubble has burst recently. And I don't know, I guess I'm too much of an optimist to really notice that. Or maybe it's because I sort of temper my enthusiasm, which I know seems kind of silly, but I temper my expectations when it comes to these new and exciting technologies. They're new, they're exciting, I'm excited about them, but I don't have the unrealistic expectations. And that's one of the ways you can insulate yourself against the trough of disillusionment is by staying realistic throughout the entire process. There are several advantages that you can take advantage of during this time, and probably the biggest piece of advice I would give to someone who finds themselves dealing with the fallout from the peak of inflated expectations falling to the trough of disillusionment is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you've put an investment in, we hear a lot about the sunk cost bias and how that's bad. And, you shouldn't just keep pouring good money after bad. And that's very, very true. But you got to watch for this too. And the other advantage that you have here in the hype cycle is this is when you start to see all the things that didn't work. And, it sounds like, oh, that's really helpful, but it actually is. Once you can eliminate the false hopes that come in the peak of inflated expectations, you can start to focus on what can this innovation actually do in a practical way? And that's where we're headed tomorrow as we talk about the next stage in the hype cycle. So I will see you then. All righty.